How will power be distributed within Vic Innovate?
With the new company, there will be a completely new organisational structure, and those further up the organisational chart will hold the most power and authority. The line managers will have a great deal of decision-making power. They are Victoria Bank staff.
What are your instructions to management on strategies, policies and procedures?
We will provide them with the necessary plans, strategies and timelines that need to be achieved, and communicate the importance of getting the right people in the right team.
What do you propose the culture of Vic Innovate will be like?
It will be the same as the culture of the Victoria Bank. Vic Bank has a strong corporate culture, and I feel that it is important that Vic Innovate follows the same culture.
Do you expect each startup to be able to assimilate to the culture of the new company?
Yes, following the same culture will give the company a sense of unity and cohesion. All staff need to project the right image for the company.
How do you think staff are feeling about the business restructure?
This is a very exciting time. We have the ability to bring some great tech businesses together to build something significant to give the bank a competitive advantage.
How are the messages being sent to line management and onto staff about the changes?
We had a big presentation to staff, and the management will send their own message to their staff about the change. We have to be careful about what we say though, so news doesn't leak to competitors or to the market yet.
What conflicts do you see arising between staff and management?
Well, the way that startups operate is very different from the way that Victoria Bank operates. I foresee that there'll be problems with the startup workers following the new procedures and new policies and obeying the new management.
How will the conflict within the teams be resolved?
Well, it's important to communicate the changes to staff and to get them on board with the new way of doing things. Hopefully staff will accept the changes and conflict will not escalate.
How well do you think the new teams will function?
Coming from different backgrounds, the teams will be set up in order to balance between experience, qualifications and skills.
What will be your challenges in forming teams from diversified backgrounds?
Identifying their strengths and weaknesses will be the biggest challenges as they are coming with different qualifications and experiences. Another challenge is conflict management within the new teams. This can be solved to an extent by setting up clear expectations on the behaviour and provide employees with the opportunity to communicate openly with the manager in multiple means.
How well do you think staff will adapt to the new culture of Vic Innovate?
It will be difficult. There will definitely be some resistance. The team is used to doing things their own ways, and there are a few rules that they have to abide by.
How will you support staff to adapt to the new culture?
Staff will need to know what is expected of them, so there should be an open line of communication. Induction and training may also be necessary.
What is being communicated to you about the merger and changes?
We've been told that there will be a new structure being rolled out where businesses will come together. We have no details of the new structure, of how that structure is being determined.
What are you telling your staff about the changes happening in the business around the merger?
We have told the staff to be patient. It isn't working, but it's hard to give the staff more details when we have none. We don't know what we should be doing either to assist in the process, or which of us will end up being here in the end.
What is the general feeling amongst the staff about the merger?
There's a lot of water cooler talk about jobs being lost. For those that remain, there's also a lot of worry that the business will be different culturally.
What conflicts do you see arising with the management in the merger?
With the change of management, there will potentially be a lot of problems. The whole organisation will be redesigned. Our current business has a flat organisational structure, but Vic Innovate is a much larger company with more hierarchy. There will be conflicts if the managers try to make us do things their way without consideration for our way of working.
How do you feel about the merger?
I will take part in team building activities which will give the opportunity to get to know about each other and to communicate with the line manager of my concerns and questions.
How do you expect the management to communicate about new changes and expected results?
By clearly defining the goals and targets at the beginning and later by holding periodic team meetings to identify issues.
Do you think the management will provide you with the opportunity to discuss the issues?
Management is said to have an open door policy where we can discuss issues and concerns, and all team members will be involved in decision making.
How would you describe the culture of your current work team?
We have a great culture. It's a small team and we share the same values. The atmosphere in the office is very lively. Our boss is very relaxed and we have a lot of freedom.
Do you think the culture will change after the merger?
Yes, I think that is inevitable. The bank's culture seems to be so different from ours. Everything is so structured and orderly.
Are staff being informed about what's going on with the merger and business changes?
My line manager doesn't know anything. All we know is what we were told in the email from the CEO about there being a merger.
What is the general feeling around the water cooler of changes?
There are a lot of unhappy people. I think a lot of people are looking for jobs. Being in a tech startup, you expect challenging work, but this place is going to turn into a bank. The culture will be all wrong for this type of work.
Welcome to our presentation on management challenges at VicInnovate. As you know, I have interviewed staff and management about the merger of the tech businesses into VicInnovate, and I believe you will find the following analysis enlightening. From the interviews, it is clear that there are several problems related to organisational culture. All startups have different cultures which are vastly different from the culture of VicInnovate. VicInnovate has a dominant culture, and it is likely that startups will have to assimilate to the new culture. There is some resistance from staff to adopting the new culture. Organisational culture is defined as a way in which members of an organisation relate to each other, their work and the outside world in comparison to other organisations. The Competing Values Framework by Quinn and Rawborough, 1983, shows the differences in culture of each company. While the startups each have their own individual cultures, they tend to have a flexible external focus, meaning that they are creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial. VicInnovate, on the other hand, will be more controlled, with an internal focus, so culture will be more structured, uniform, and traditional. In order to assist staff from the individual startups to assimilate to the culture, communication and socialisation are necessary. Attention must be paid to the way the dominant culture is being communicated through rituals and behaviour. Socialisation is the process by which individuals learn the values, expected behaviours and social knowledge necessary to assume their roles in the organisation. We recommend that we align policies and procedures to values and culture and provide an induction to staff on culture. From the interviews, the following problems were identified. There are different political structures between VicInnovate and the startups. There will be a restructure of power and authority in the merger. The diversity of interest within the organisation may lead to conflicts. There will be potential power struggles between management and staff. One major issue in the merger is the loss of power. Organisational structure can be used as a political instrument and is the determinant of who holds the power. With the merger, job roles will change and certain staff will either lose or gain power. Loss of power can be demotivating, but managers can use their power for positive means. Each organisation in the merger has a different political structure, which could cause conflicts in the merger. VicInnovate generally operates on bureaucratic authority, meaning that power is hierarchical and governed by policies and procedures. Change takes place slowly. On the other hand, the startups are predominantly technocratic, meaning that power is concentrated to technical expertise and knowledge. These firms are highly flexible and can change rapidly. These different views will likely cause conflicts. There are 5 methods of controlling conflict that a manager can choose. These are competing, avoiding, collaborating, accommodating and compromising. We recommend that the managers of VicInnovate follow a collaborative approach. This involves taking a problem-solving stance, viewing problems as challenges or opportunities, confronting differences and sharing information, and seeking win-win solutions. We propose the following solutions, including strategic planning for the organisational structure, appropriate selection and training for managers, conflict resolution for staff. Coping with a merger can be a stressful and challenging task, both to the existing management and staff as well as for the new employees of the subsidiaries. It is a critical and crucial time for the top managers to determine and allocate team members into the right team, as well as to manage them and guide them to achieve the organisational goals. It is vital to effectively communicate among the team members and also build trust. The problems you experience with groups and teams. All individuals from the startups will need to adopt a new dominant culture of VicInnovate. There will be a cultural mismatch, lack of cohesiveness, power struggles amongst the team members, personality clashes amongst the team members, loss of motivation, gaps in communication, ambiguities in roles and responsibilities as well as objectives, lack of belongingness, fear of redundancy. Bruce Tuckman's 1965 Forming, Storming, Norming and Performing Team Development Model can be used in implementing the teams and directing them towards achieving the organisational goals. We recommend that there's effective communication of all policies and procedures around groups and teams, and that management come up with cultural initiatives for employees to follow. 80% of our time in business is spent interacting with other people. The reason to communicate in business is to work together, understand the differences in people, and through that diversity, build strength and perspective. People have different methods in which they need to hear a message, to understand, and to remember it. What you have to say is only one part of a communication. Active listening and understanding is very important. What others want to hear, what others need to hear, how they will react to what you're saying, their personality type, and how you effectively communicate with them are all parts of communication. General concepts for all people include addressing and allaying preconceived ideas. Be clear, concise, unambiguous, and use basic language. Understand cultural differences. Understand the forums in which people are happy to contribute and to ask questions. As much as company success is something everyone wants to see, be aware how these changes are perceived and how they can affect staff. Basic questions about how does this affect me are natural and will be the first responses. Job insecurity has known effects on mental health. All care should be taken to reduce these impacts. As a solution, we recommend that there's a comprehensive communication plan that's distributed to all staff.